Go on that side. Get on that side. Thank you. Are you my first guest for the show? All right. Let's start it right now. Just relax, boss. So, um, boss right here is a rescue. Uh, my wife found them at that dog park. Somebody left them there, and she called like the pets rescue people, whatever they are, to come pick him up. He was kind of young. He was like 6 months maybe, and after they picked him up and she came home for like a whole month, she was like, "Oh, I wonder if they're gonna adopt him." Da 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 da. This and that. And so we fostered him for a few months, and after a few months, I was pretty much like, "Yeah, no, he's gonna stay. He's gonna stay. He's so annoying, boss. You're so annoying sometimes. He's like super high energy and wants to be on top of you all the time, but all in all, he's like a really good dog." Anyways, um, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Bossini. That's my coffee. So, anyways, I was, oh my god, LinkedIn, man, don't even get me started. I was on LinkedIn, because so I've been on LinkedIn a bunch because I'm trying to start my own business, and so I'm trying to kind of like have some visibility there for people to see my business. Um, so I do like lab operations, and long story short, I saw a post. Someone was like, I need like a podcast host to come be a guest at my podcast to talk about having a podcast. And I don't know if it was jokingly, but I said, I'm gonna start my podcast today so I can be a guest in your podcast after I get X amount of subscribers or whatever, followers, whatever it is. And the funny thing is, for years, it was one of those things where I was like, oh, I need to start a podcast, but how do you even start? Everybody's like, they have all these things where they're like, oh, you just do this and you start with your phone and then you get a microphone on Amazon for whatever and then you do this. And it sounds easy, but like just like that getting started, I know once you do, I know once you start and you like 10, 20, 30, 100 episodes in retrospect, hindsight 2020, you can just be like, it's just so easy. You can just start. And it may be true for some people where you can just start. But for some reason, it's just like, oh, I'm going to put myself out there and then start. Or what am I going to be talking about? But whenever you're having like regular conversations with people, like every time I talk to someone, they're like, man, you should just have your own podcast. Even my wife, she's like, you love talking. Why don't you have your own podcast? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, everyone and their literally everyone and their grandma has a podcast. But I guess if you don't start, you just don't start. You're never gonna get anywhere. You just have to take that first step, and you just keep doing it, and you just keep getting better. And I mean, a lot of us do a lot of things that are harder than the stuff that we are looking to start. Like, oh, I want to start my own cookie business. I make really good cookies, and everyone says my cookies are so amazing. But how do I want just start cook? Just start doing the cookies. Like you've already done way harder things. Um, I used to wrestle in high school, and I didn't even think twice about like, I don't want to start wrestling because I have to go fight somebody. That was way easier for me to do. Stepping on the mat and like going against somebody was way easier. Same thing with like, I'm gonna do a marathon, a half marathon, or whatever, or like a triathlon. You just like, okay, you have to train. The training is hard, you know, just running nonstop. Your legs hurt a little bit at first, and I guess that's just how things go. Anyways, I I just had to do it today. As you can see, I'm like, now I'm not even dressed up for like a podcast thing. I didn't even plan anything. I grabbed my notebook to do some stuff to say, oh, maybe I'll talk about this, maybe I'll talk about that. Uh, and then I was just like, just freaking go outside, just grab your phone, put it on the little stand. You bought it for that. Put your mic on with the little fluffy thing that I'm not. You don't even. I'm not a fan of this fluffy stuff. And just go sit outside. Don't even clean the couch. Just start now, because if you don't, you're gonna start looking for excuses like, oh, maybe let me just clean up the couch. Let me make sure it's all clean. Let me have a shirt on. Let me just do my hair, do this and do that, and then just set up the perfect moment. You just setting up the perfect moment, and then the setting up part doesn't even happen. You just don't even do that part. And so that's what I'm doing. This is my first episode. There's not even gonna be editing, no anything. I'm gonna post this raw. This is gonna be freaking raw. The second I'm done recording this, I'm gonna put it raw. No, no, nothing. Just upload it on YouTube first, maybe, and then the next time I will have a little bit more of a structure, because now I've already taken the first step. Um, and that's usually the problem. I guess this first podcast episode is, I'll just call it first step. You know, first step, starting something new or whatever. I don't know. Um, and just talk about those things. How many things are we currently doing that are way harder to do than the other thing we're trying to do? You know, and then you just start doing those things. I don't want to sound redundant, but literally, you just have to start, man. You just and I guess I'm having this conversation, telling myself, you just have to start, man. Sometimes you just have to. Um, and yep, that's that about starting. I already started, I guess. So now I can move on to next thing. And the next part is this, actually. So I live in Texas now, and this is the other thing. This is the other thing. When I moved to Texas, it was way harder. The whole process, if you think about it, and you ask somebody, hey, would you rather pick up your whole fucking life, your family, everything, your like you just everything that you have here in this place, whatever you've built for the last 30 years. I lived in Massachusetts for 30 years. Everything that you've built here for 30 years, pick up and leave. Just do it right now. Or start a podcast. Or start a podcast. Well, I guess almost everyone would be like, no, I'd rather start a podcast. That's so dumb. It's so easy. I'd rather start a podcast than pick up everything and move to another state where there's no one there for you. It's just you and your family. And literally, the way I moved to Texas was we were kind of like tired of Massachusetts, and my wife was like, "Oh, she wasn't having a good time there anymore. She was not having a good time in there." We went to Mexico, freaking loved it. We did some work, some like improving work and improving like health wise stuff and learning new things outside of the conventional stuff. And when we came back, we were like, Mexico was so amazing. We know we can't be in Massachusetts anymore. We have to leave. So I was like, okay. I literally went on LinkedIn and I just put like my title at the time for my job, and I put like Texas. I didn't even put Dallas. I didn't put anything. I just put Texas. I'm not even lying. The very first thing, the very first job that came up, it was in Houston, and it was the job that I applied for. And I think I was like one of the very last people to apply. They loved me, and they were like, "When can you start? We need somebody to start soon." So I was like, "Oh, ideally, I would like to have a month to pack up and move." No, no, no. We need you to start in like 2 weeks. I packed up a bag and like a little luggage, a briefcase, like something. My wife and my daughter did the same exact thing. We rented a car. We didn't even pack our house. We didn't do anything. A moving company was going to do that stuff like the week after we left. We just left. We drove down to Texas. It took us like 3 days. We grabbed our dog, put him in the car, not this one, a different one, and we drove, and it was amazing. Driving to Texas was amazing. When we got here, we didn't have a place to stay, uh, and we stayed in a hotel for like, I want to say 3 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks. Uh, and I literally just I found like a temporary lease, um, to rent like an apartment for 3 months. I said, hey, we can't rent for a whole year, because if we do a year, then we're giving ourselves a year long to find a house, and I don't want to do that. We need to find a place soon. I forced us to find a place as fast as possible by setting up our lease to 3 months. So we had only 3 months. We found a house like at the end of the first month. We found a house that we liked. We went through all the process, took like 30 days to close, and we actually ended up leaving the apartment like 6 or 7 days earlier than our lease was due. Um, and sometimes you actually have to just freaking pack up and leave. And I guess the point is, that was easier to do than starting this podcast. We packed up our stuff. We didn't have, there was, we just left. So I don't know how that was easier for me to do than to start a podcast. And I mean, there might be some like, oh, you guys are not happy anymore doing that, starting a podcast. There's nothing. It's like, it's not like a, you have to do this podcast, or no, it's just like a side thing. You just do it. Uh, but if you're thinking of like, hey, I don't know how to start, I don't know what to do, you just do it, and you freaking just wing it in the process. Uh, you are taking a risk. I mean, I did take a risk when I moved to Texas. Um, you know, and then I ended up leaving that job and going to another job. But now you're here, and you're like, this is so awesome over here. It's much better. Um, and maybe it will be the same thing with the podcast. Hey, wow, I'm really glad I'm doing the podcast. I got to talk about this. I have zero. There's no one right here. Whoever the first person to watch this is, thank you, appreciate you. And whoever the first person is to watch this long, thank you, appreciate you. Um, but who knows? Maybe what's now? Right now it's February 5th, and so who knows? Maybe by August, maybe I have 100 people watching me. That would be great. That would be ideal. Um, Maybe my videos have 200 views. Maybe they have 1,000 views. Maybe a year later, I go from 100 subscribers to 1,000 subscribers or 100. Well, you just the whole thing is that you just never know what's gonna happen. You just really never know what's gonna happen. Um, and that's why you have to start. I see a lot of posts on LinkedIn. I see a lot of things on Instagram. The world, where are we even going, man? Like, what's happening all over the world? But you just have to, you just have to do what you need to do, man. Um, so this is my first podcast. I'm gonna upload it right now after I click the thing to shut it off. I'm gonna upload it. I'm not gonna say anything. And also, yeah, my podcast is gonna be called Fancy Turkey. Fancy Turkey, or what was the other name? What was the other? I don't know. There was like another name. And it was pretty funny because my wife usually is giving me nicknames. Fancy Turkey because her dad makes a really good Thanksgiving turkey, and I don't know why. I was like, I need to make a better Thanksgiving turkey than him. I need to make the best turkey ever, and I've gotten really close to making some really good turkeys. And so now she's like, oh, you're just trying to make a fancy turkey. Um, so I'll make a turkey week after next, and maybe I'll take a picture, add it to my thing. Um, and yeah. So if you've been patient enough to watch me talk about absolute shut the hell up, boss. If you've been patient enough to listen to me for however long this is, man, thank you. Because there's so many more things you could be doing right now, and listening to me. I shut up, Pepe. And listening to me is not. I don't know if I would be listening to me right now, but maybe by my 10th episode, Pepe, shut up. I'm doing a freaking thing right here, bro. And maybe by my 10th or 20th podcast episode, I'll have something more structure and better. Uh, stop, stop, stop it, bro. It's more structure and better, and you guys will be like, "Wow, this is really good. I'm glad I actually stuck around and listened to this freaking guy talk about stuff." Um, but hey, whatever you're doing right now, thank you, and you just have to understand one thing. Actually, you have to hold on. Time, I don't want to say time fixes everything, but time and effort fixes most things, not everything, most things. There was a time in my life where like for 10 years I was stuck and I couldn't move forward no matter what I did. But once I got out of that thing, I was able to move like quick, because kind of like a truck stuck on a mud, and then you get that little push, and when you get out of the mud, you just go whoa, and you just leave. Uh, but then eventually, things stabilize, and you just like, yeah, I've been coasting. Things are changing. Things are not like they used to be 20 years ago. Um, but Yep. And that's it. I'm just gonna stop right now. Please stay tuned. If you watch this, stay tuned. I promise you, I'm gonna make a better episode next time. I'll fix this up. I'll do something better over here. I'll change my pants. But it'll be better. And then maybe Olamboy can be here. This is Boss again. And see you guys next time. Let's hit the work.